Okay, let's get some turquoise cut and polished. First, we're gonna have to sort through this mine run. We're looking for pieces that are the same size and shape because they'll get cut similarly. Then we're gonna take the larger pieces that are not small in individual stones, like this nugget here can get cut in half and make 2 stones out of this same nugget. This is a common practice in making earrings. That's how we make earrings that match relatively well, is by slicing them in half like this. You'll notice that there's water throughout this process. The water keeps the stone cool so that the friction doesn't burn the turquoise. So we're gonna slice this in half on the diamond saw blade, just like that. After that, we're going to mix up a 2-part epoxy. The epoxy is going to be poured out into lines so that we can place the turquoise into those lines of epoxy, giving the stone a flat bottom, a little extra stability, and some extra thickness for that setting. Once the epoxy has hardened, we're going to clip those pieces apart so that we can individually cut each stone. The larger pieces can be shaped by hand to begin with, so let's get into the cutting shop and get working on that. This is a grinding wheel. It has a 100 grit carborundum grinding wheel on it. We just turned on the water again to keep that nice and cool. The grit refers to the number of scratches that the wheel is going to leave, so this will leave 100 scratches per square inch on our piece. The first thing we do is we grind off that top of it. That's going to show us what the stone looks like underneath so that we can figure out a shape. This one, we're looking at the shape of a teardrop. We're looking for shapes that are oval, circles, triangles, squares, and teardrops. Those are going to be the traditional shapes set in American jewelry. And so we're going to round off the rough edges. We're going to smooth over the stone, and that's your teardrop. Then after we have rough cut the large stones and the small stones are both going to get put on top of a stick using a wood glue mixture. So we mix up our glue, and then we're going to put a stone on the stick so that it can have a handle on it so we don't cut our fingers off. We put that in sand just so it stays standing upright so that the glue can dry. Then we're going to take a piece and grind it to do the same shaping that we just did with the larger piece. This is just going to be a smaller piece, and that's how we use the stick, is so that we have something to hold on to. So we do the top, shape the sides, and then smooth over a rounded top. Then we're going to take it to a sandpaper wheel. The sandpaper is going to be a little bit higher grit than that grinder. This sandpaper is a 220 grit sandpaper. That's going to smooth out those rough scratches that the first wheel left and give it a little bit of a shine, but not much, but it's going to smooth out all of those rough edges. So we slowly work it through, again doing the top, the sides, and then smoothing it over and rounding it off. Same thing on this piece with the stick. We're going to do the top, the sides, and then round over that top to make it nice and smooth. After that, we take it over to our polishing wheel. The way that we polish is with a leather wheel. In that bowl is some tin oxide mixed with water. So we dip the stone in there a few times during this process. The tin oxide is going to provide the grit. The leather provides a drag, and combined we end up with a 50,000 grit finish on a stone. That is going to be a glass finish. That's why it is nice and shiny, is because of how many scratches it has. So the large stone or the small stone, they're going to get polished, and here in a second we'll show you the finished product. These are going to be your finished stones, nice and shiny, a nice shape on there. You can see that backing underneath, and that'll get covered with a bezel set in the American traditions. And then this one is that other small stone. We popped it off of the stick, and this is ready to set in jewelry also. We hope you enjoyed learning about turquoise lapidary.